everybody, and welcome to a very special board game discussion video about my trip to GenCon. Before I really get into it though, I would like to say, if you haven't done so already, please take a look at my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. I've got all of the social medias, and that's where I announce new videos, giveaways, contests, fun articles, all sorts of cool stuff. That said, for those of you who don't know, I did get to go to GenCon. It was a very fun time. I went with Genius Games. It's a company that I've talked about their games several times. I've done a couple reviews for them, and more importantly, I helped them develop a game about cell biology. So that's sort of why they had me come out, is so that I could be there as an exhibitor to help do demos and all that kind of thing. For those of you who haven't seen them already, I actually made 4 videos about my trip to GenCon, which were just daily videos showing the exhibit hall, as well as some of the competitive areas and all that kind of thing. So be sure to check the links below to see all of those. That said, I didn't have a whole lot of time to look around, unfortunately. I didn't have a whole lot of time to shop, but I did get some new games, and I'm really excited. However, a lot of the new games coming out are ones that I'm just not too interested in, or like they're Kickstarters that I already backed or weren't interested in, and things of that nature. For example, Twilight Imperium 4 Fantasy Flight just released that, $150 at GenCon, and you had to have a ticket to get it in the first place. Ugh, I love me some Twilight Imperium, but no, can't deal with it. CMON, Cool Mini or not, they had their Godfather Capone's Empire, they had Rising Sun for demo, all sorts of other things. Fantasy Flight also had Legend of the Five Rings, their new living card game. By and large, I really wasn't interested in them though. So most of the games that I got were actually older games that I've been wanting for quite a while. However, I've got a couple of new ones as well that I wanted to talk briefly about. First one that I got is Terra for Mars. This one is one that I actually got for free because a friend of mine got it as like sort of a bonus gift thing and just didn't want it. Essentially, this is a game where you are trying to terraform Mars. Again, it's one of these other ones but in this case you've got a bunch of irradiated cockroaches that you're fighting against. It's a little quick card game. It seems kind of fun. I've never played it. I'd never even heard of it, but it sounds kind of interesting and at least somewhat up my alley. Next up is a game that I've been vying to get pretty much ever since it was released, and that is Santorini. I got Santorini as well as the Golden Fleece expansion, and I'm really excited because I got all of the promos for it as well. You guys know I'm not a big guy on promos. I normally don't care about them, but they were just like, hey, you're buying it, here, have all the promos, and I was like, okay, sure! So I got all of it, and I'm very excited to have it. This is with the new publisher, though. Can't remember, Roxley? I think is the new one. So it's Roxley and Spin Master. Apparently this is like a new printing with this new publisher, and apparently it's a slightly lower quality. I personally don't care too much though. I'm okay with it. I'm just really happy to have it. If you guys have seen a lot of my 2-player game demos or game videos, then you know like how much I talk about this and really how much I enjoy it. Next up is another game that I have wanted for a really long time, and thankfully got to play my own copy of just last night at my friendly local game store, and that is Captain Sonar. I haven't really talked about this very much on my channel, but this is a team-based game. This particular one plays 2 to 8 players. Days of Wonder slash, I don't remember the company name, Matago, I don't know how to pronounce it, I apologize. They released Sonar, which is a 2 to 4 player version of Captain Sonar. I got very confused when I went into the booth to make my purchases because I didn't have a lot of time. I almost got the wrong one. But Captain Sonar plays up to 8 people, and it's a team-based, real-time, coordinated strategy type of game. Somewhat like Red Alert, if you guys have played that, but you don't have a CD, and it's 2 teams against one another trying to find each other. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great game, and I'm happy that I finally have it, even if I had to pay total retail price for it. So next up is the one new game that I got for myself, the one new release that I bought, which is Downforce. Downforce is a re-release of an old racing game from, I want to say, the 1970s. It might say on this, I don't remember. But either way, it's a relatively old game, and frankly I wanted to get it because I got a copy for a friend of mine. He was really excited. He played it a ton at Dice Tower Con, and he was like, this is a great game, I really want to have it for myself. I read up on it, looked at a couple of reviews, and I was like, yeah, this looks like fun, I want to have it. And the biggest reason, honestly, for me is that I just don't have a lot of racing games. And it's a genre that is really lacking in my personal collection. I was like, this is perfect. I have a great racing game. It's also a great betting game, which is another one I don't really have a whole lot of. So it's kind of cool. It really just fits a nice little demographic for me personally. Plays a decent number of players, and it's relatively short. So there's really no downside for me getting this, and so I was happy to pick it up. Last last but not least, there were a few games that I got specifically for other people. One of them was Dead of Winter Flick 'em Up, or Flick 'em Up Dead of Winter, which is literally flick 'em up with the Dead of Winter sort of facade on it, where you've got the little zombies and you've got the police station instead of like the saloon and stuff like that. But it looks exactly the same. Honestly, it's pretty adorable. The characters and the zombies all look pretty cute. So I was happy to get it for her, and she was really excited. The other one that I got, again, was for somebody else. Some of the games I had to ship, so that's why I still have a few. Yamatai, I don't know exactly how to pronounce this, but this is another one of Days of Wonder's new releases, along with, well, they were holding Sonar, but that's beside the point. In this particular game, you've got sort of like a bit of worker placement, resource management type of thing, sort of in the vein of, not quite like Takenoko, but a similar feel. For me, it looked a little bit more like Zolk In, although without obviously the big dial and things, but in terms of, you have, like in this case, the very distinct Japanese culture, whereas in that one you had the very distinct Aztec or Mayan culture. So it looked really interesting, and I was happy to get it for her. I hadn't played it, so I'm a little bit meh about it, just because I'm not certain exactly how it'll work, but it looks gorgeous. I'm excited to try it out. Hopefully I'll be able to at some point, but again, unfortunately when I was at the con I wasn't able to. So that's it as far as the games that I got. Like I mentioned, there were a ton of new games being released, but the vast majority of them I just wasn't too interested in. Again, if you want to see more, take a look at my other videos where I just went around the exhibit hall and looked at some of the new stuff, which includes the upcoming Batman Kickstarter game, which will be launching in, I think, February if I'm not mistaken, alongside the Mythic Battles Pantheon. Those are both Monolith games. Tons of other stuff. Exploding Kittens had an adorable booth. Slugfest Games, Fate of the Elder Gods, as well as a great new Cthulhu themed games, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, go and check those out. Again, I'm a little bit sad that I didn't get to play more, but I'm really happy because Genius Games actually brought me over there. They paid for me to go there, so it was awesome, and I got to see all this great stuff, and it was still a tremendously fun time. But with that, if you guys have any questions or comments or anything else, please feel free to put them below. But with that, thank you very much for watching this little video, and I will see you next time.